Hi guys, welcome back to George Reads once again, where today we are reading Chapter 3 of I'm Telling You They're Aliens by Jeremy Strong. Last time in Chapter 2, the new neighbours, aka the aliens, moved in this neighbourhood, and Rob, he's a little bit suspicious about them, and they're going to come over to their house to have a little chat, and so he's going to get a real close encounter to them. So this is the chapter on from that, Chapter 3. Let's see what happens. Chapter 3, Even Closer Encounters. "She can talk already?" cried Mum, and I thought, of course she can talk. She's an alien. She could probably speak 1,000 languages, and come to think of it, she's probably got 1,000 different tongues to speak them with. But Mum was still going all gooey. Goodness, Robert didn't learn to talk until he was almost 3. Thank you, Mum. Is it unusual? Asked Mrs. Volk anxiously, as if she didn't want anyone to think her daughter was any different to other children, and no wonder. I fixed Mrs. Volk with my best I know what you're up to kind of stare, and I got a really good peek at that star sign. It was made up of 12 stars in some weird shape, with little lines joining them up around the edges, like a dot-to-dot picture. Robert, is there something wrong with your neck? I straightened up, and Mrs. Volk threw me a panicky glance. Oh yes, I got her worried all right, but not half as worried as she'd got me. I mean, she was an alien. You know what they're like. They have laser eyes and stuff. I was pretty sure that the Volks wouldn't attempt anything yet. They would be more concerned about their master plan to take over the world. I was wondering if I might borrow some sugar, said Mrs. Volk, and I couldn't help myself. I just had to laugh. I mean, this is so obvious. Everyone turned and looked at me, and the whole room felt deadly silent. Sorry, I muttered. I felt my skin go prickly and flushed strawberry from head to toe. Of course you can have some sugar, said Mum, and she began gurgling at a little petal. She's so clever, before going into ecstasies over the baby's amazing intelligence yet again. That's nothing, muttered Norman. I could talk when I was 11 months. No, you couldn't, said Mr. Volk, fixing his eyes on his son. Oh, yes, I couldn't. Norman turned away sulkily from his father's threatening gaze. His dad had extraordinary eyebrows, like fat black caterpillars. Give me more, cried Pestle, making a grab for the chocolate cake that Mum placed on the table. Just look at her, smiled Dad. I thought, yeah, just look at her. What a greedy pig. What a greedy pig, said Norman. Norman? That's what Robert thinks, and I agree with him. I was astonished. How did you know what I was thinking? Norman just snorted back at me. Mum glanced anxiously at everyone. She did want things to go well. Robert, why did you take Norman upstairs and show him your computer or your violin while we talked to Mr. and Mrs. Volk? I was quite pleased about this. It would be a chance to study this alien creature more closely. When we got to my bedroom, he went straight across to my computer. It was time to ask a few probing questions. Did you really know what I was thinking? Nope. But I was thinking she was a pig. Everyone thinks she's a pig, said Norman. And anyhow, I could talk when I was 11 months, so there. It's no big deal. Does this computer have a copier? A what? A copier, you know, for copying things. Oh, you mean like a photocopier? Norman gave me a weird look, as if I was truly stupid. Of course not, Jellyhead, he sneered. I mean like copying living things. Dogs, cats, elephants. You've got a computer that can do that? Inside, you could bet my mind was going boggle-boggle, but I tried to stay calm. This was like an actual admission. I mean, short of him actually saying I'm an alien, this was it. But no one was getting bored. He seemed to think that my computer was hopelessly out of date. My dad's in computers, he said. He knows more about computers than anyone in the universe. I bet he does. I tried to sound cutting. Yours is rubbish. Now that was cutting. I shrank back on the bed. Norman kept glancing around the room. Eventually, he spotted my violin. Can you play that thing? Sort of. Go on then. I picked it up and began to play a little piece I'd been working on. The effect it had on Norman was incredible. He kind of doubled up with his hands pressed to his head. He toppled over to one side and began writhing about on the floor. Oh, come on, I protested. My playing isn't that bad. I put the violin down and Norman struggled to his feet. He stared at the little wooden instrument. "That is an instrument of torture," he croaked. "You must have heard a violin before," I said. "Not played like that." He sat on my bed. "What do you do up here all day? I've never been in such a boring room. What's special about your bedroom then?" Norman grinned at me. "For a start, I've got an electric guitar and amplifiers," he posted. "And I've got 2 computers, 3 games decks, and my room is twice as big as yours. I've got a satellite tracker and everything." "A satellite tracker? What a giveaway!" This was getting scary. I began wishing that Norman would go. "I must get back," muttered Norman. "It's getting late." He'd done it again! Read my thoughts. By this time, I didn't just have goose pimples. They were more like elephant pimples. Norman hurried downstairs. His parents were fussing about it too, all of them saying that they must get going, despite Mum's offer of another cup of coffee. "Really must rush," insisted Mr. Vaughn. "Things to do." "How did you 2 boys get along?" asked Mrs. Vaughn. "He tried to kill me with his violin." Norman muttered and my dad laughed. "Robert does that to everyone," he said. "He's going to join the army when he gets older. You know, secret weapon." My dad can be so witty. Mr. Vaughn gave a faint smile. I don't think he realised it was meant to be a joke. He seemed almost edgy. He scratched at the open collar of his shirt. My eyes almost fell out of my head. There it was again, the mark. He had exactly the same star cluster in the same place. "You must go," said Mr. Vaughn, tapping his watch. "Of course, you must have a lot of unpacking to do," agreed Dad. "Unpacking? From moving in?" "Yes, of course. Come on, Mrs. Vaughn, Norman, we must go unpacking." The new neighbours almost ran across the road to their own house and vanished inside. "Strange people," said Dad. He called his own wife Mrs. Vaughn, as if she was a stranger. "She forgot the sugar," said Mum. "Trust her to fret over the really important issues." After the Vaughns had gone, I started doing some fretting of my own. I was worried. Could Norman really tell what I was thinking? I know he said he couldn't, but then he would say that, wouldn't he? And if Norman had this power, did that mean all the Vaughns knew what we were all thinking? There was something else nagging me too. If they were aliens, then what were they really like? Obviously, their human form was just a disguise. What did they look like when they were not playing at being human? And why were they in such a rush to get home? I gazed out of the window across the road towards their house. I could see the slowly setting sun reflected in the windows. And then it all came to me. Dracula! They were like vampires. You know how vampires are only vampires at night? During the daytime, they have to hide. Maybe these creatures from outer space were like that. Only they had to hide by night because at night time they changed into their real alien forms. And there I was on the side of the street, while on the other side there were 4 aliens poised to take over the world. This was big time worrying. And that's the end of chapter 3. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please tune in for the next episode of George Reads, which is chapter 4 of I'm Telling You They're Aliens by Jeremy Strong. I hope you guys enjoyed this series so far as it is progressing, and the channel itself as it is still progressing. And thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.